A man called Tom Chivers has written an article entitled, "If You Like Banter, You Are an Idiot." Now then, just to make sure that we're on the same page, I have actually looked up the word banter on Google, and the results that I got was the playful and friendly exchange of teasing remarks, or talk or exchange remarks in a good-humored teasing way. As you can imagine, with a definition like this, I kind of wondered what it was that made him so sure that people who like to poke and make fun of one another in a good-natured way was a terrible thing. And so, I of course read his article, which goes as follows. Banter. Can we end it? Destroy it, cleanse it with fire, encase it in lead, and hurl its charred corpse into the North Sea. It is, and I am speaking as someone who recently decried the use of hyperbole in public debate, literally and without question the single worst thing in the history of the universe. Worse than the SN 1987A supernova and the Large Magellanic Cloud, which wiped out 6 planetary civilizations. You probably didn't read about that at the time, though. I mention this as response to a story we run today about sexist trousers. Yes, sexist trousers. Emma Barnett, our digital media editor, spotted, as she was doing some laundry, that the label on a pair of her boyfriend's trousers said, "Machine wash warm. Inside out with light colors. Use only non-chlorine bleach. Tumble dry medium. Medium hot iron. Do not iron print." Or, and you can tell they're setting themselves up for the big punchline finish, "Give it to your woman. It's her job." Oh my aching sides, etc. Now, we can argue until our own sun burns its final hydrogen molecules about whether that's funny or not. Personally, I think any joke which needs its payoff signaled a month in advance is not worth the effort. Is it offensive? As I've discussed before, some people will think it is, some won't. Personally, I'm not about to march on Parliament, but I can see why people might not like it. Obviously, it would be ridiculous to ban crap jokes in trousers, but people who are offended have the right to say so. It's all part of our rich denim tapestry or something. But, oh God, but, the people defending it, it's only banter, they say. I have seen the word banner probably 50 times this morning. Banner. It's not our fault if you can't take a bit of banner. Grow up, it's only a bit of banner. Get a sense of humor, it's just banter. Banter. Banter is not humor. Banter is what people have when they lack a sense of humor. Banter is a catch-all word for idiocy that warns the rest of us that here be lads. Banter is Soccer AM. It is Andy Gray. It is middle-aged men on Top Gear pretending that they are edgy outsiders by mocking society's weakness, then going home to Chipping Norton, where they live 2 doors down from the Prime Minister. It is an English stag do in Dublin or Amsterdam with matching t-shirts. It is cruelty unleavened by wit, but which is excused because it is a bit like wit if you look at it from a certain angle. It is what is left when humor has died, and just the rotting, stinking carcass remains, bearing a resemblance to the living, but lacking all that made it good. Banter is the Dunning-Kruger effect writ large. If you like banter, you are an idiot. I am not a fan. This is not a tirade against rudeness. I am all in favor of rudeness or bawdiness, of insult and mockery and obscenity. They're all brilliant things when done well, but banter isn't. If you insult someone, you expect them to be insulted. If you are rude, you expect people to be offended. Banter is apparently a free pass. I can insult you, but you're not allowed to be insulted because it's only banter. I can be obscene, but you can't be offended because it's only banter. No, if you're a grown-up, you know that your offensiveness may offend, and you either accept that or you apologize and don't do it again. Saying it's only banter makes you not only an idiot, but an idiot who can't take responsibility for his own jokes. This isn't only banter. I'm literally and specifically saying that if you, the reader, like banter, you are an idiot. You are welcome to be offended by that. Well, isn't that lovely? Personally, I believe that you are an overstuffed and overblown pompous moron who is clearly unfit for their position. And yes, you are welcome to be offended by that. Still, even so, this guy's an idiot. Shall we just say that? No, stop and think. It's you good-naturedly ribbing a friend. That's all banter is. This guy has no idea what banter means. The stuff he's went and listed that has nothing to do with it. No, seriously, the only example he went and gave didn't even make any sense. He's basically saying because a pair of pants had this label on it, that counts as banter. Okay, let me cut you off. You know how there are some people who go around and tell them that the dog or the radio or the goldfish or whatever it is talking to them? Yeah, these people, they're fucking crazy. And they need to be medicated. And they need to be institutionalized until they're made better. If you actually believe that a tag on the back of a pair of pants is talking to you, you may want to seek professional help. Now then, if people cannot go and get what I'm saying, I am basically saying this. Banter usually involves at least 2 or more people talking to each other. So, think about it. A tag on the back of a pair of jeans, there is no back and forth. It's all one-sided. It's you reading the tag. You can talk to the tag, but the tag is not going to go and deliver any more information than it already has printed on it. Do I make myself clear on this here? That is not banter at all. Still, as bad as all this is, the idiocy does not stop there. It continues on. Some of the members have went and said this. I agree with the article. Don't forget the birthplace of banter, the home of the terminally thick, the football dressing room. Ex-players, without exception, cite this as their most missed element when they retire before moving on to Talk Moron or one of the other banter-laden media outlets to bestow on their mouth-breathing audience more inane drivel. Others have gone on to go and say that it is bad breeding, a lack of good manners, someone that has a massive chip on their shoulder who can only feel good about themselves by making others feel bad. Another one has stated that it is someone who needs to be avoided or kicked in the face for being a drone-like pleb. Wow, how elitist of you. Still, another one goes on and says that in the playground they called it bullying and in the work it's now called harassment. Broadly speaking, it's just plain pathetic, and my advice is always to walk away from people who like that and never look back. Your life will suddenly become so much better. Frankly, I'm going to take this person's advice. The later part of it. If I ever meet this person in public, I'm just going to walk away from them because, believe me, as insane as this person is, my life is probably going to be going for the better. Still, it gets worse. And believe me, if you're listening to this channel, most of you have already configured that out because that seems to be a running theme. Anyway, someone goes on and states that you're forgetting the most famous case of banter as a defense. When the Stephen Lawrence killers were questioned by Martin Bashir about their racist video rants, they replied, "Harmless banter, Martin, harmless banter." And Tom Chivers goes on and responds to it by saying, yeah, exactly, that's top banter right there. That is the distillation of why banter is the enemy. Okay, no, Chivers, no it isn't. You see, you are making a apple to hand grenades comparison. The two are not related in the slightest bit. They're not even in the same category. Someone going on and making a racist rant such as, all black people are just over-involved apes that needs to be enslaved or executed for the better of the public. That is not banter. That is called hate speech. It is not the same thing. Okay. Again, banter, back and forth, involves 2 people. So if you got some of the people on here and they're just out of their mind and crazy and they're just putting out hate speech, okay. Well, that kind of tips you off that it isn't banter. It's hate speech, and why are you making this comparison? Why are you agreeing? Do you even know what this word means? I really don't think you do. So in real time, I'm just going to go to Google and look up what the synonym for banner is, because I think another word will help you to understand this in a better way. Here are the synonyms for banner. Chit-chat, gossip, repartee, whatever that is, ribbing, small talk. The list goes on. However, some of the later synonyms are jeering, jesting, joking, kidding, mockery, whatever. And here's the funny thing of it. I'm not a black person, but I am kind of aware that in black culture, making fun of one another is kind of the thing, okay? You don't do it for meanness. It's just good-natured fun. You're doing it at a person's expense, but everyone's in on the joke. They know it's not necessarily a bad thing what you're doing. So, tell me, Mr. Chivers, are you racist against black people? Do you hate black people? Do you actually believe that they're just uncivilized and that every black person who does this is a complete moron? Tell me, how racist are you, really? Now, me using SJW logic aside, the point still stands on its own. For people where this is the cultural norm, you going in and telling them this, they're going to look at you like you're, just out of your mind. That what you are saying to them doesn't make any sense. Same thing here. Banner is not really meant. Okay, you know what? At this point, I am invoking Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Seriously. I really do not think you have the slightest clue what banner means. And even if you did, let's be honest. If I'm talking to someone and, he needs to call a carpenter because that sycamore they got rammed up their ass is starting to splinter and poke them in the brain, guess what's going to happen? I'm probably not going to go and be very good friends with this person, or I'm not going to even go and talk to him in a lighthearted way. I'm going to keep it strictly business or what have you. Simply because, seriously, you gotta lighten up. Now, you can go and sit and say, oh, well, I don't like it. Well, okay, you don't have a sense of humor. Too bad for you. And yes, there's a person saying, who gave an example of this, and by the, it's just a joke thing, where they go and list, someone tells a tasteless joke about someone disabled, the person objects, and they basically said, well, okay, so what happens if your mom gets a brain injury and someone makes a joke about her? Well, okay, what's going to happen is, I can understand where this person's coming from, but that's not how it works. Banner is supposed to be good-natured. The minute you go and bring someone's familiar other into it and make it personal, that transgresses quite a bit. And just like anything else, there's good and there's bad versions of the same thing. Wit, satire, humor, comedy, and yes, even banter. You can do it well or you can do it poorly. If you do it poorly and you offend someone, you apologize, patch things up, and move on. However, this person is just, they got no sense of humor, whatever. There isn't really much to do with this. This is probably a person I'm not going to be very good friends with because they just got a stick up their ass. However, I think this guy's issue is when it comes to a third party. Because, to me, it's kind of like Donglegate. In Donglegate, there's these two guys talking to each other, making a dongle joke. Yeah, dick joke. Well, yeah, like that has been done 1,000 times already. And this woman got offended, took their picture and everything else, and got them fired because she didn't like what they were talking about and was supposed to be a private conversation. Well, okay. My reaction to that case is if I am talking to someone and you personally are not privy to that conversation, my response to you is going to be straightforward. I am going to tell you to get your eavesdropping nose out of my business before I go and ram it into your skull. Seriously, if you're offended because you were listening to something, because you overheard something that doesn't apply to you, that was never addressed to you, I got no sympathy for you. What do you want me to do? I'm just going to say, okay, you're offended. Get out of here. Go away then. I'm not going to go and change what I'm talking about just because someone, has a stick up their butt. Seriously, lighten up, people. And like I said, yeah, there can be offensive. I understand this. And for some people, that's okay. They don't care. You only use banter on someone you're familiar with. If you're very familiar with someone and you do this and it's understood they're okay with it, this person isn't going to care. They're not going to complain. Yes, it's offensiveness, but they're probably going to laugh their ass off. Well, okay. Use common sense, people. No, not just common sense. Use common sense and a dictionary. A thesaurus if you have to. I've said my piece. Odio out.